John Filax, you are live on Delete Laws. What is going on? How are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm all right. You know, John Filax. Yeah.
Officer DeCastro.
We've been waiting to get you in torture cuffs for a long time, bud. Long time.
You did it.
How was your stay in the dungeon last night?
It's horrible.
Was it horrible? How are the torture cuffs?
Horrible. My wrist still hurt.
Your wrist still hurt, huh? I tell you, John, we've been watching you for a long time. We've been watching you on the YouTubes. We've been watching you go around and harass cops for years. And I finally got you on. I can finally really let you know what the police think of you. Let me tell you something. You auditors are parasites. You're an absolute parasite. You don't belong in a civilized society. It's people like you who make my job hard. I'm the guy who's here to protect and serve. You, my friend, are the problem.
If we're parasites, who's the host?
The people. You're sucking off the people with your views and likes and comments, and you're just trying to make more money for yourself, John. I mean, let's talk about that for a minute.
Aren't they doing it voluntarily?
As in who doing it voluntarily?
The people who watch my stuff. Somebody forcing them to do it?
Well, people watch your stuff, John, because you just poke your eye into the bear. That's what you're doing. You're just poking the bear. And really, you finally got whacked last night.
So why would anyone want to watch that then?
Well, because guys like you, you are the problem in our culture. If you would just get out of the way and let me do my job, then I wouldn't have to deal with some parasite on the scene when I'm trying to investigate things.
If you want to see a parasite, you'd have to look in the mirror, because you guys are forcing people to pay you for a terrible service. That's the definition of a parasite. Involuntary host.
My service is terrible?
Of course it is.
What are you talking about? We protect and serve the shit out of you every single day.
Who are you? So when you steal people's money on the side of the road, you're protecting them?
Brother, I'm keeping the public safe by pulling them over and giving them a ticket.
How's that? You're taking money out of their kids' mouths.
Out of whose mouth? I'm taking money out of your pocket, John, because guys like you, you go speeding down the roads and you got to get a ticket and I need to make some money. And so this is the
parasite.
You're the problem. You're the problem. If you
So people who voluntarily watch me are the host of my parasitic activities, but people you force to pay you for your service that are not voluntary, you're not the parasite?
Not at all. Not at all. We are a necessary function of government.
You are a costumed remora, let's be honest, in a sea of Americans.
In a sea of Americans, I'm a costume remora? Is that what you just called me?
That's correct, sir.
Wow. This guy's got a big vocabulary for being an uneducated dimwit who runs around with a camera poking it in cops' faces, annoying us.
How close does a camera have to be in your face?
If you come anywhere, see, John, you and I have never ran into each other. But if I ran into you and you came up with your camera like this, first I would knock the camera out of your hand. And then what I would do, I would pull my nightstick out, Sean. I would stick it right in your neck. And I would, till your tongue came out of your mouth. Then I'd ask you, tell me your name and badge number, like you do. You walk up and stick the camera in my face. Tell me your name and badge number. You, my friend, are the reason why people die in the streets. You.
Really? What action do I take to hurt anybody?
Yeah. You're getting in the way of police. What we're trying to do our jobs, and you, my friend, you are the problem with me doing my job.
You mean like civil asset forfeiture?
Civil asset forfeiture is a very valuable thing. The police department right now, I mean, you see this? We got all new billy clubs last week, all new billy clubs. We confiscated some, I think it was a car or something from someone. Then we sold the car. And now look at this, John. You know what this is for? It's stick it right in your neck.
And that's not parasitic?
No, dude, listen. I perform a necessary function for society. You don't have any necessary function. Matter of fact, who do you guys call you? You have First Amendment community, First Amendment auditors. But the thing is that when you went to jail the other night, John, weren't you wondering if anybody's going to get you out of jail?
No.
No, you knew they were going to come down and bail you out?
Correct.
Right. Right. And did you have who raised the money?
They told me before I even got in the squad car.
Right. How much money did that cost you?
Thank God people voluntarily donated their money and got me out because they must respect my message.
How much money was it?
$500.
$500, huh? Score one for the boys in blue. So, John, you know, I saw you auditing. I saw you long time ago. I saw a video of yours. Of course, I puked and turned it off.
Of course.
I'm just curious, you know, what made you the way you are? What made you that you are?
Basically, the way government operates, and 99% intimidation and a 1%, what do you call it?
Little bit of sugar with the sour, right?
Yeah. Yes, listen, exactly.
That's what I offer. I offer a little bit of sugar with the sour. So, but I'm just curious, like, what was the catalyst for you to be the pest, annoying bugger that you are for the cops? What was the first thing that made you decide that you were going to come and bug us when we were doing our jobs?
Well, I never really came and bugged you. You guys would always come to me when I'm minding my own business.
So that's how it started off, is one of my fellow brothers in blue arrested you, and then you got all pissy?
They stole my money on the side of the road.
Who stole your money?
You guys.
Cops don't steal money from people, John. That's not what we do.
They don't?
No.
So when my freedom's impeded involuntarily on the side of the road, and then I have to pay for an extortion letter, that's not stealing?
Oh, did you have your money civilly asset forfeited? Is that what happened?
It wasn't civil, and no, it was just a threatening letter, what you guys call a ticket, and then I was forced to pay and show up or go to a cage.
What year was that?
30 years ago, 25 years ago.
Well, when did you pick up a camera and first start running around being a pest and bugging cops? When did that happen?
Well, again, I didn't pick up a camera and go anywhere. All I do is live my life, and then you impede my freedom and steal my money.
Oh, so you're telling me you don't go out and film cops? Wasn't I looking earlier at a video of you, and you were at some police department, and you had your camera, and you had a bunch of other felons and a bunch of criminals you were with, and you guys were out there filming the cops? Isn't that what you were doing?
In the past few years, I've gone out and did some auditing, but I started this before the internet was even a thing.
Oh, really? So what are you, like 60 now, 64?
47.
Oh, okay. You just look like you're 60? Is that what it is? Okay.
Yes.
So now I'm kind of starting to get the drift here of what you're saying. You're saying that 30 years ago, one of my brothers in blue somehow offended you, and ever since then you've been some sort of like cop watcher or auditor, or what do you call yourself anyway?
Civil rights activist.
Civil rights activist, huh? You're fighting for civil rights?
You know the thing you swore to protect?
I swore to uphold the Constitution. I swore to defend this country from both foreign and domestic enemies. I carry a gun, I carry a stick and a taser, and I perform a necessary function for society.
Well, you're the domestic enemy.
No. Yeah. I'm the champion of liberty.
Whose liberty?
I'm here to defend your rights and defend your liberty.
Then why don't you?
I do all the time, John.
Stealing my money doesn't do that.
What money got stolen from you? You keep on saying someone stole your money. What are you talking about?
When you impede somebody's freedom against their will, like a rapist, and steal their money, that's what I call stealing money.
Stealing money from a rapist. I think all rapists should have all their money stolen, John, don't you?
When you stop somebody without their consent and they're not free to go under threatened arrest, that's being like a rapist.
Okay.
The only difference between a rapist and a cop is cops are after money and power, and rapists are after sex and power.
Wow. So you think cops are like rapists?
Well, they have the rapist mentality, no doubt about it.
I mean, John, listen, I have helped so many people in my career. Like by protecting and serving and making sure that rights are respected and upheld.
So they have a right to keep their money and have freedom?
John, listen, you're looking at a tiny fraction, squishing your head, a tiny fraction of cops that do something wrong. Remember, it's an isolated incident.
Tiny fraction. Huh? They're not trained to violate rights straight out of the academy?
Yeah, no.
No, they don't teach you ways to circumvent the Constitution and Bill of Rights.
In which way? Are you talking about Terry stop? Are you talking about Terry stop? Is that what you're saying?
Terry stop, civil asset forfeiture, traffic code especially.
Traffic code. Well, what would we do without traffic code? If there's no traffic code, how are the roads going to stay safe?
Well, they pretty much stay safe because nobody wants to die on the road, so people act normal. It's not because there's a handful of cops every now and then stealing people's money.
What do you mean stealing?
You impede your freedom. You say you were going 5 over. Now you have to pay us $238.
Oh, I see. So you're complaining about money, but I want to get to the root of it, John. I want to get to the root of your problem with police. What's your problem? 30 years ago, somebody did you wrong. Is that what you're still mad about? You ever go to a counselor?
A counselor?
You ever go talk to someone about your problems? Sounds like you're bunged up. You sounds like you're bunged up over something happened 30 years ago, and you're still crying about it.
It's not just 30 years ago. It's happened repeatedly, even though I haven't done anything to anybody, and I haven't created a victim.
To you, it's happened to you?
Oh, many times.
How many tickets do you gotten?
Throughout my life?
Yeah.
10, 15, 20.
You know what I would say to that?
Not only that, I've been stopped on just walking on a sidewalk and detained for no reason. I've also was a designated driver at a party, and I took my friend's car because he didn't want to drive. We stopped at a Taco Bell. Next thing you know, cops pointing a gun in my face, having me get on the ground because when his vehicle was stolen in Cleveland, it got recovered, but they forgot to take it off the stolen list, so it still showed up as stolen. And I almost got shot because of their administrative order.
That's a felony stop. That's a felony stop, John. You're in a stolen car.
But I wasn't.
Why don't you stop breaking the law? Sounds like you got a lot of tickets.
What law did I break?
15 tickets? You break the law all the time is what it sounds like to me.
If you say, what law? Not constitutional.
I don't know. 10 or 15 tickets? I don't got 10 or 15 tickets. How do you have 10 or 15 tickets?
In your life?
No, I don't have any tickets.
Well, I got 3 bicycle citations just for trying to walk down my street. There's one thing.
3 bicycle sites. So is everything you're doing because you're pissy about a couple of maybe questionable calls by an officer, and so you had a couple things happen to you, and so now you're just pissy about it?
Well, it's not just happening to me. It happens to millions. They steal, what is it, $20 million a year from people?
I think it's a little bit more than that, actually.
I'm talking just through traffic code.
Right, just in the state of Florida?
No, I think it's nationwide. Maybe it's 20 billion.
20 billion.
Yeah.
So what is going to help you remedy your major malfunction? What's going to help you get over the hump where you leave us alone, let us do our job, and you stop harassing the police?
When you start leaving us alone, I'll leave you alone. Don't start no stuff and there won't be no stuff.
Don't start no stuff, there won't be no stuff. Well, John, so let me just go over it. You were in a felony stop and you had guns drawn on you because the car came back stolen.
That wasn't stolen.
Okay, right. So we have to be concerned about our safety. And so when we get a call and we see that there is a stolen car and some giant guy like you in the car, then we're automatically going to be a little bit weary, especially because you constantly seem like you have a bad attitude. You know, we're trying to help you. And instead of you allowing us to help you, you do things that make it so that you get yourself in trouble.
So the way you could help me is when a car gets recovered, you make sure 1,000% that it's put on the recovered list and doesn't stay on the stolen list. That way I don't almost get shot over something I have no clue about.
Okay. So we went back 30 years in your history. You got a couple of bike tickets. So when did you pick up a camera and go out and start harassing the police? When did that happen? When was the first time?
When did I go out?
Well, I mean, it seems like, I've seen a lot of your videos. I've seen that you make videos of you recording cops. When was the first time that you decided you were going to be proactive and start annoying police?
Well, I never go out to annoy police.
No, you're annoying us. You're annoying. You're an annoying guy.
I hear that, but
yeah,
like I said, if you don't talk to me and you don't bother me, I won't bother you.
Right, but I'm trying to do my job, and then I got some poison pill around me with the camera, and I'm not sure if you're gonna turn your camera. It's gonna, like a quick would it transform into a gun? I don't know if you're gonna transform your camera into a gun, and then I have to think about my safety.
If they have a camera that transforms into a gun, I want one.
Well, from what I understand, John, there's people working on that in the first aid community.
Is there an app for that?
Yeah, we're watching. We are watching what you guys are doing over there. I mean, and most of you guys, number one, are ugly, and then number two, most of you guys are felons or criminals. Most of you guys don't have any education, don't know anything. You go out and you guys talk about cops not knowing law. Half of you First Amendment auditors don't know a damn thing about the law. You guys don't know anything. You go out there and you say misinformation, and then you spread around your misinformation. And so you got a whole troop of people on YouTube who all believe qualified immunity is the most important thing.
I always say to any cop or government parasite that if you think what I say is wrong or I've made a mistake somewhere, feel free to come and live debate me and put me in my place. And for some reason, no one takes that challenge.
Well, of course not. So,
of course not. What?
Why do I need to debate you when I have all the power? I got all the power.
Well, then you're running on your own ego, and you're not running on truth and logic.
No, I'm running by the powers bestowed upon me by getting my peace officer certificate. And then
I never bestowed any power on you. I never gave you authority over me that way. The only authority I've given you is to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution.
So then you're a sovereign citizen, and you think the laws of the land don't apply to you.
The laws of the land are the Constitution.
Right, and that's what I'm doing. I'm upholding the statutes and codes of the great state of Florida. And so that's what I'm doing.
Do the statutes and codes have to be congruent with the Constitution or no?
They do, and they are.
But they're not.
You're saying these things that we're doing things that are unconstitutional, but I don't see very many cops going to jail for constitutional violations. Where are all these bad cops who are now doing prison time for violating people's rights? There's hardly any. So what are you talking about?
Well, they consider it a civil matter, and they also have qualified immunity, as you know.
Right.
Harlow Fitzgerald. Plus, you guys.
What case did you cite? What case did you cite?
Harlow versus Fitzgerald.
What year is that?
I don't know the year.
You think that's the qualified immunity case?
I think it is. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think you are wrong. I think it's Pearson versus Ray, 1967. I believe that's where police are going to get qualified immunity. Like I said, everybody watching now, you get to see these dumb YouTubers out here, blah, 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 blah. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. And the guy don't know diddly squat bupkis. Nothing.
Make me look it up now.
Go ahead, look it up, Johnny boy. Look it up, John. Look like you're a little red in the face is what it looks like to me. Looks like
I was out at the DMV today in the sun.
Harassing cops.
No, actually, we were just standing there, and then some bigot called me the N-word spick because I was recording and said because she walked by us with her kids that I was engaged in child pornography.
Are you telling me you're engaged in child pornography? Is that what you're saying to me?
No, sir.
Okay. I'm just checking. I just want to make sure because
you a really good cop, though. I'll give you that.
No, a lot of you 1A guys, are just criminals. You can't get a job doing anything else because of your felony. And so what you did is you picked up a camera and you went running around, filming people with your camera because you can't get a job anywhere else. And you get clicks and views and likes, and then you get a paycheck from DoTube. I mean, it's cast in stone. Like the police officers that I work with, we all know the gig. We all know the game that you're playing. We know what you're doing, John. And we know you're all about just making the money. How much money are you making? You making $10, $15, $20,000 every month just filming cops?
Are you kidding me?
No.
I wish.
What kind of money
YouTube has shadow banned me like 2-3 years ago. So I have 250,000 subscribers and I might get 2,000 views per video.
2,000 views per video.
Unless something crazy happens. 2,000 views is maybe $10, $15.
I'm glad we had a chance to talk. Maybe you should consider doing something noble, going down to the recruiting office and signing up.
Oh, yeah?
And joining the team in blue. That's what you should. I mean, if you're struggling, I mean, we're making good money. I mean, we're making good money here.
I would not wear that costume, all that gear, just to go and violate people's rights. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry.
What is this thing you keep saying that we violate people's rights? What are you talking? Listen, Terry versus Ohio makes it so that as soon as I see you, the very first second I see you, I can run up and grab you in the name of officer safety.
How does a constitutional right amendment change? What's the process?
Oh, so let me explain something to you, Johnny boy. So when the Supreme Court does a holding for all of the First Amendment auditor supporters and all you guys out there who hate cops, let me just explain it to you. When the Supreme Court of the United States, when they do a holding, John, that is the Constitution. That is the definition and the determination of the Constitution. Terry versus Ohio, that said, no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause. That changed.
How can that change without 2/3 of the states ratifying it?
The Supreme Court said.
Well, the Supreme Court isn't the ultimate decider. The people are.
Well, right now, looks like you guys aren't doing so good. Looks like the Supreme Court's making all the decisions.
Don't worry, our numbers are growing, and ever since this movement started, there's more auditors than you can name. 5 years ago, there was only like 10.
Movement? What movement? You gonna go have a bowel movement? You gonna take a dump?
I took one a while ago. I looked just like a cop. It was weird.
Oh man! But what I'm saying is I want you guys to understand this, okay? When the Supreme Court says, when the 9 people who are appointed to be justices, when they make a holding, typically that holding will remain for 40 to 80 years before the next group of guys or girls, now we're getting more and more women on the court, and that group will then look back after all those other people are dead, and then they'll change it if it's unconstitutional, but the people never do. The people don't change anything. It's all about the Supreme Court. It's the Supreme Court.
Could change things overnight if they really wanted to.
Well, how would that happen?
Well, they would have to assemble in their local governments, and they could say, we don't care what the federal government says. This is how it's going to be in our city.
Make sure you keep an eye on John Filax. I think he's calling for violence. He seems like he's calling for evil revolution. Filax is calling for a revolution.
I am upset that I think you're right about. Why did I think it was Harlow versus Fitzgerald?
Oh, I know. A bunch of dunce cap YouTubers, just like that moron James Freeman. Qualified immunity. The way I entered your life is I Terry stop your ass.
But,
John, you're lucky I wasn't there last night. I'll tell you what, if I had been there and I got to put the torture cuffs on you, buddy, oh boy, you would have been sitting sideways the next day.
Don't worry. Officer Snaggs did a great job wrenching my hands the wrong direction and having my shoulders burn up and having me sit sideways in the back where I couldn't get any air.
Attaboy.
And in the meantime, he was looking up how to get me for carrying concealed pistol because I didn't have an ID on me. He was trying to throw an extra charge on me.
Is that what happened? So let me guess. When they put you in the cuffs, after they got you in the cuffs, they took your hands and wrists and twisted them behind the cuffs, right?
Yeah, so that's pretty much the first thing they did, yeah.
Right.
Even after they stopped wrenching my hands, though, they were not the right direction because if they do them right, they're a little uncomfortable, but they're not pain. Like, I'm still sore. And then finally, when I told him, dude, this ain't working, my shoulders are burning up, my wrists are hurting really bad. Finally, then he decided to put on 2 sets of cuffs. And he says, I'm doing that as a courtesy, not because I have to. I think he was getting off on me being in pain, honestly.
Here's the thing, I did read the police commissions and the 4 police commissions that I've read, the Seabury, the Wickersham, the Knapp, and the Mullen. Apparently some other want to see little tiny Dick Leto. Apparently he's got some website called Delete Laws. And on that Delete Laws website, you can get those police commissions and you can read that every one of us, and me included, John, we understand that this job is a physical job and it's going to require a little bit of physicality. And look, you're functioning today. Do your hands still work?
Yes.
Okay. Well then, so you had to go through something a little bit. You're still alive. You got the cuffs off. So then let's talk about this. So they they put you in the car and they put the cuffs on you. You said they were too tight, right? Cry me a river. And so then after that, the cop says, how did they put the 2 cuffs on you before he took you down to the jail? Or did he put the 2 cuffs on you right there on the spot where you were?
Oh, no, he made me take a ride to a bouncy ride down to District 3. Then he parked in the parking lot behind the gate. He called the paramedics because I was having a hard time breathing.
Right.
And they came and took my vitals. And then finally after that, he told me as a courtesy, he's going to put on 2 cuffs. Not because I have to, he says.
Oh, I see. Is it, what I think personally is that people in general, Americans, they don't exercise or stretch. And so what happens is when we put you guys in the cuffs, you're not used to putting your arms behind your back like this. And so what happens is it puts an immense amount of pressure on the shoulder. Most people will do push-ups, but they're not doing lat pulls. And so your shoulders naturally hunch this way. And so when we put you in the cuffs, they're pulling you back like this. And then it just takes 5-10 minutes. You're singing like a canary.
You're right.
Crying in the back seat.
Everything you just said is right. Out of shape, bad shoulders, no exercise. You nailed that one. I'll give you that one.
Right. And then what happens is you get that stretch on the ligaments, and pretty soon the wrists are hurting. That's one thing. But the shoulders, ooh. Oh, yeah.
They were burning.
Burning, right? Did you feel like you were having a heart attack? Like your chest was
not a heart attack, but my shoulders started burning. Even with the double cuffs. The single cuffs were bad, and then when you put the double cuffs on, it was bearable. It was a little uncomfortable, but it was bearable. But then again, after 5-10 minutes, your shoulders start burning, literally.
Yeah.
All right, man. How long are we gonna do this?
No, I'm staying here. I just want to ask you something else. So now you get you in the car, and then they take you down to the pristine jail down there. And so tell me what that process is like. When they take you do they wheel you into the jail, or do they take you out of the car, then walk you into the jail? What's that like?
Officer Snaggs got out of the car, opened his trunk. I think he disarmed himself. It was like a little garage. Closed the door, got out of the car, disarmed himself, threw a bunch of stuff in his trunk, and then he came and took the cuffs off of me. And then we walked into like this man trap, between 2 double doors. And I'm asking the guy, is there cameras in here? Am I going to get raped or murdered in here? And he thought that was a joke. And basically they think everyone who's been in there has been in there 100 times. I've never been to jail, and I was being serious.
Wow.
Then they had me turned over a table, and this guy stuck his hands all over my junk. I mean, he didn't stick a finger in my butt, but he was all up in my crack, going around my waist several times. It was so thorough. Right. And I've already been frisked 2 or 3 times at this point. I even told the cops before they put me in the car, just so you guys know, I have a pistol on me if you want to take that off of me. So then they gave me a prison jumpsuit, or prison, the orange thing, and the sandals that don't have a left or right foot. They're just straight on, and they're made out of hard plastic.
Right.
In the cell, they put like a rolling curtain on there, and I'm like, "Are you gonna watch me change?" He's like, "You've been a fucking smart ass this whole time on purpose." He's like, "Get this fat ass a 5X. He can't even squeeze into this." I'm like, "Whoa, dude! I wasn't being a smart ass." So I apologized to him, and I shut my mouth the rest of the time and just sat there.
So when you came in, he took you out of the cuffs, then he walks you into this little room, and then you said that they bent you over a table?
Well, they made me bend over and put my hand, like you would a police car, on the
table. And bend your body all the way over. And then they take their fingers, and I need people to understand something, that when we need to skiff you down, we need to really get into every single crevice. And because a lot of times, there's going to be stuff or drugs, or, people like John could be bringing contraband into the pristine jail that we have created for these folks. And so when we skiff you down, I got to get my fingers, and my fingers got to go I got to dig into the crevices of things. So did they make sure they got in the crevice of the backside real well? And they got in there.
They got in there. I thought I was making a gay porn for half a second there.
And then they reached up and grabbed on both sides of the. That's right. And then, so then after they did that to you, then they make you take off all of your clothes in front of a stranger, strip down
Correct.
completely naked.
When I asked him if he's going to watch me, that offended him so bad for some reason. Like, you already frisked me. Why do you need to watch me change? I don't get it.
Well, we make sure that there's nothing that you had maybe stashed somewhere that maybe my intense frisk didn't find for some reason. I mean, there's people, you'd be amazed what they do. And so because that one person who may do something absolutely crazy and insane, we have to make sure that all of you are not crazy and insane. That's why we really got to get in the backside. We got to get our fingers and try to get in that backside to get our fingers in there so that you're not one of those crazy people. How did we know that you weren't one of those nutballs? In our defense, John, can you just come to our defense here for a second? There are crazy people who do crazy things and put things in crevices, are there not?
Sure.
Okay, so then how do we know you're not one of those nutballs that stuck some crazy stuff in your crevice? And so we got to get into the crevice, John. All right?
I guess.
So then when you strip down all your clothes, you strip down naked in front of one of my brothers in blue?
No, I was a prison guard.
Prison guard. Oh, we're all the same. We're all.
No, I think those guys are worse.
Well, they just bring in, they bring in the authority and they bring in the order to the jail. They make sure that if there's going to be any contraband, that they're going to make sure they oversee anything that's going to happen with contraband. Because, as you know, we have a zero tolerance policy on contraband. And we snuff that right out, John, and make sure guys like you. So then you had to strip down naked in front of a prison guard. And so did he make you turn around and spread your butt cheeks?
No.
Okay. So he just watched you strip down and then you stuck your feet in those shoes?
Yeah, them straightforward plastic hard sandals.
Did you get a rinse? Did you get a shower after that? Okay, so after that process, after you get on your yellow jumpsuit or orange jumpsuit, which I'm sure looked good on you, and then where you go from there?
Then you go sit in a little, it's all one big room, but there's like certain sections of seating. And I sat down and you wait for your vitals to be taken by like a third party nurse that's not affiliated with the jail.
Oh, I see. So are you chained down in the different sections?
No.
Okay. Because in Nevada, I'd heard on another video from one of you other activists that in Nevada, when they went into the jail, there was a bunch of seating and then they were cuffed in each different seat. So when
some people who came in stayed cuffed and they didn't have the orange gear. They had like this Velcro dress. I guess they got extra violent with the cops and resisted. So they put them in like this, it almost looked like a bulletproof dress with straps over the top. And they were like handcuffed and shackled.
Wish I'd been there to see that.
And one guy also had not only that, but the big spit guard mask over his head.
Yeah. If we say that you spit at us, then pretty much you're going to get a spit guard put on. And then a lot of those guys that have on the skirts and stuff like that, John, I'm really surprised that didn't happen to you, because had I rolled you in there, I would have said, he's violent. Make sure you keep him shackled up and put a skirt on him, because that's how we punish a little bit. It's perfectly within the boundaries of the law, perfectly legal. All we have to do is say that we fear and that you were violent on the outside and that you need to continue the protocols for a violent offender on the inside. And so some of those people who you saw in it kind of looks medieval a little bit, but at the end of the day, we're just doing our jobs. And
right.
so you're lucky. You're lucky that you didn't get put into a chair.
They did that to somebody.
Oh, so while you were there, so it's one thing for you to get arrested and booked in, fingers in the crevice, and then it's another thing. Then you saw these guys who were in skirts, and then you saw somebody else in a chair, right?
Well, he was resisting. They took him to a cell, and he was resisting, and it took like 5, 6 of them to get him into this restraint chair.
Yeah.
They're pretty, I don't know. I see that there's, as far as the jail goes, I see where, but, if you ever seen the movie Roadhouse, that you have, right?
I've seen it.
Like Patrick Swayze's technique was, he was aggressive enough but his main rule was be nice. They're just dropping F-bombs and degrading everybody. Why can't you be professional while applying the necessary force? Why do you have to like be mentally degrading these people? Because technically everyone's innocent in there until they prove them guilty, and they should be treated as innocent. And don't get me wrong, if they need to control them physically, fine, but why does it have to turn into like sadistic torture at some point?
You know, look, anytime there's a force being applied to somebody else and the people applying the force are in uniform, then you guys are going to look at that and think that it's some sort of sadistic, twisted thing. The truth is that because of the 1980 case of Johnson versus Glick, which is the foundation of understanding if you can file your 1983, your civil rights lawsuit against one of the prison guards, and all y'all have to know this. If you do get arrested and you are taken to one of our pristine jails, then the guards don't have any limits on how they can keep order. You saw, right? Right.
Yeah.
So if you do get arrested, then all y'all need to understand something. I'm going to treat you fair on the outside because there's cameras on me, and really the only thing I can actually do to you is cuff you up real well and then make sure that those wrists gets twisted and stuff, just to let you know that you violated, the law.
You guys get a little sadistic on the outside too. It's not, again, it's not professional the way you guys.
Well, you can say that, but just to stay on the point here, that you need to understand, John, is that you're damn lucky that you didn't get killed in that jail, because if you get too far out of line in jail, then those guards, they're allowed to keep order. This is the holding in Johnson versus Glick. Keeping order, just like officer safety. Everything we do is about officer safety because the Supreme Court said officer safety. So now every policy, every procedure, everything, we got that little caveat into everything being about officer safety. So we can take any situation, say it's officer safety. Doesn't matter what situation it is, because the Supreme Court gave us that right. And then for you, a bunch of yahoos, a bunch of criminals who follow this criminal, if you go to jail, Johnson versus Glick, they have the same kind of holding. For the cops on the outside, it's called Terry for officer safety. For the prison guards on the inside, it's called keeping order. And under the banner of keeping order, you better be careful.
There's no specificity to that. It's just keeping order. It's a vague like that.
Yeah, it's a broad term. We can cover. One of you moron auditors can cover Johnson versus Glick. We can listen to the oral arguments. They are online. They're available online. And keeping order is what the Supreme Court said. So now everything in the jails, if you listen to what the guards say, it's all about keeping order. You have to keep order. So that means anything can happen to you. So then after you go in there, they give you your orange jumpsuit. Do you find a boyfriend right away?
No, it took me a while.
Okay. So how long are you in there?
What?
How long are you in there for? How long?
I'm in there from like 1 a.m. until 7:30 in the morning. They had bailed me out at they paid my bond or bail or whatever it's called at like 5:30, I think. Mm-hmm. But they still held me an extra 2 hours for I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. Well, how much sleep did you get?
Not much.
Did you?
We were just sitting in like a waiting room, like a lobby.
Oh, so there was no place for you to lay down?
Oh no.
Oh.
I was just leaning forward on the chair in front of me, falling asleep like this on my side.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
There's also people screaming in the cells, I'm sorry. There's also people beating on the walls in the holding cells. And, it's not a relaxing environment by any stretch.
So let me try to encompass this. So what you're telling me is when you go into one of our perfect, pristine, clean, orderly jails, there's people in there who are screaming and yelling, that are losing their minds because they're locked in a box. The guards are keeping order, putting people in chairs and using the force necessary to get people in chairs. There's people who don't have beds to sleep in, even though it's 4 o'clock in the morning. So they're slouched over, holding their bodies up with any body part. Roll of toilet paper, maybe. Use a roll of toilet paper. You try that one? Get a little ingenuitive over there, Johnny.
Toilet paper was locked behind the door.
Oh, they locked it. And then let's talk about that. I mean, if you're not afraid. So then what about the bathroom? How was the bathroom for you?
Oh, the bathrooms they had locked were nice, but The second time I asked to use the bathroom, they told me to go to a holding cell, and it was like the stainless steel toilet that had like barnacles growing on the inside or something, and it smelled like death.
Oh, I see. So you had to go to the bathroom. They told you to go to a holding cell.
The second time.
Okay. So the first time you went to the bathroom, you went to a bathroom where the door shut and locked.
It's shut and locked, and half the window, there was a window. Half the window was like frosted, and the top half was clear.
So people can just look in there. You taking a number 2?
If yeah, technically, yeah.
Right. We do that just because, as you know, there's a small percentage of people who will do all kinds of things in the bathroom, and so we need to make sure that you're not one of those people. You know, you guys have to understand what we're doing here. You know, we have
in the bathroom. You mean hurt ourselves? Like, what would we do in the bathroom? Hurt ourselves?
I mean, you might stick your head in the toilet. You know, you might try to hang yourself like Jeffrey Epstein. You know, there's all kinds of things you may try to do. You may take the feces out of the toilet, try to eat it. I mean, we have all kinds of people, John, do all kinds of things. So we need to treat you all the same.
I'll tell you, the feces from the toilet would have been better than the food they were handing out.
Oh, okay. So but let me finish on the bathroom break, because I want to finish this whole bathroom thing. So I understand that I can congratulate my jail guards on their performance with you, because, you know, I heard you were treated excellent. I heard you were treated excellently. So number 1, they let you go in the bathroom with the half the window first. Huh? Did you say thank you? Did you say thank you? Okay.
I was very polite after that first guard yelled at me. Yeah.
Then secondly, they had you had to go to the bathroom in the holding cell. Now, who was in the holding cell?
Nobody.
Okay, so there was nobody in there. And what was there a toilet seat on there, or was it just a round can?
It was just a stainless steel toilet with literally years of buildup inside of it.
Oh, okay.
Years.
So inside the rim of that was
like an oyster bed.
Oof, nasty.
Yeah.
Don't break the law, John.
We're oysters.
Don't break the law. If you didn't break the law, you wouldn't have been there.
Correct.
We're going to get into that in a minute, but let me keep going a little bit further here. So then when you went in there, did you have to go number 1 or number 2?
Number 1, thank God. I don't know what I'd do if I had to go number 2. I'd be so upset.
Number 1. You went number 1.
I turned into a Greek hovercraft at that point.
I didn't know you were funny, John.
Yes, you did.
So then after that, let's talk about that food. So they take you in there. It seems like you're peeing all the time. So were you drunk?
No, I don't drink.
Doing drugs?
I don't. No.
Meth, heroin? Okay. I got to ask. A lot of you First Amendment auditors, that's, you know what I'm saying, that's the program. So you're not on any substances. You got to go to the bathroom a couple times. And then do you ask for food, or is food brought to you?
Well, there was 2 guys in there who must have had a higher status, but they still had like prison uniform on. It was just a different color. And I knew they were a higher status because they got to wear shoes. And they were,
wow. Look at it. You see, we're good guys. We're good guys.
To me, they almost seem like bouncers, but I think they're like other inmates that are like working.
Yeah.
And they had a bus tub, and it was filled with sandwiches. They gave me a little tiny carton of apple juice, and then 2 slices of white bread and some type of circular mystery meat. I didn't even touch it, either one of them.
Yeah.
I just drank water from the water fountain. That's it.
Yeah, I would recommend that you don't eat anything or drink anything in jail if it's not in a sealed container straight from the manufacturer. You know, I mean, you're going to lose a little weight, but compared to what's going in that meat, you know what I'm saying? Like, remember, those meat processors are trying to make money, and we only have so much of a budget. So we buy the most economical. We get the most economical meat, so that, and then we freeze that meat, freeze it, so that we can, especially if we get a sale. Oh man, we're big on sales. And then we will freeze, hundreds and hundreds of pounds of this meat. And then when we thaw that meat out, sometimes it gets a little bit, frayed and stuff like that, just because it's, such thin meat anyway. And then, just so you know, I just don't know what those food manufacturers are putting in that meat. I'm not saying any of our brothers in blue or any of the prison guards would have anything to do that was nefarious, but, so you didn't eat the sandwich? You didn't have the bread? We offered you something to eat, is what you're saying? Okay, you see that?
Yeah.
For the people who are watching this, we clearly took care of John. We offered him food, and we gave him a place to go to the bathroom, gave him a place to sit down where he could kind of sleep.
The medical people were cool.
The medical people were cool?
But they're not affiliated with the jail. She said it was like it was a grant or donated services for prisoners. Somebody donated the money for the prisoners or inmates or whatever you want to call them to get medical. And, they ask you all the questions like, you want to hurt yourself? Do you see a future for yourself after tonight? And how do you feel about what happened to you tonight? And is there anybody else you want to hurt? And
well, let's talk about that for a minute. How are you feeling? How were you feeling at that time? What were your answers to those questions?
how was I feeling?
Yeah, I mean, like, did you feel like
no, I don't want to hurt myself. No, I don't want to kill myself. I don't want to hurt anybody else. I don't want. And when they asked how I'm feeling, I just said disappointed. What am I going to say?
Right. So, all right. So then we went over the bathroom, we went over the booking, and then your cuffs, and then you're going to get bonded out. You get bonded out at 5 a.m., you said, and then they leave you in there till 7 a.m.?
Till 7:30, and then they yell, John. I wake up. They go, come on over here. And everything they do is like forceful and aggressive. The way they speak to you, like the one guy didn't read English, so he went to the staff bathroom and he tried to hit the handle, and he couldn't read the sign that says staff bathroom. So a little light pops up. So instead of the prison guard saying, go around the corner, he has to grab him physically by the shoulder and pull him. There was that. And so at 7:30, he wakes me up. We go down this hallway, and he's like, hey, man, the lieutenant or somebody's really doing you a favor here because we're about to have shift change. And if we have shift change right now, you're not going to get out of here till 9 a.m. So they were doing me a favor by letting me out 2 hours after my bond was paid, so I wouldn't have to go through shift change.
We're good guys overall,
Obviously.
We're good. I mean, look at the favor they did for you. And they helped you out.
Somebody, if you try to ask them questions, they would literally just go off on you. Like you weren't even allowed to ask questions.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to know. You're not, I go, sir, do you mind if I ask you a question? Like, how does this work? And he was so like perturbed that I would even have the nerve to ask him how this process works. So if you want my advice, when you go to a jail like that, shut the hell up, run through, bear it out as best you can, and try to get the hell out of there.
I can't believe, John, that I'm going to agree with you. But the thing is that the jailers, just so you know,
they're very vulnerable there.
They tried. All those jailers tried to get the badge on, but they couldn't do it. So they took the job as a jailer, and then they know that they have every right to keep order in that jail. And so that means what we're, not we, but the jailers, what they're going to do is they're going to jerk you and tug you and pull you and push you so that you lose your mind. And then the jailers are going to come in and they're going to.
I agree with that. They really try to mentally break you down. They really do.
And they're going to keep order. They're going to keep order right there. You saw it, right? The brand of violence that you saw for 7 hours.
Mm-hmm.
On a scale in your mental, what it does to your brain when you leave the jail, what was that at 1 to 10 when you saw that violence?
I think if anyone's in there for more than 7, 8 hours like I was, you're going to start, what's the proper word? You're going to start
freaking out
a little bit. You're going to start losing it a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you're not strong up here, I'm not saying I'm that strong. I've never been in that situation, but thank God the guard told me I was being a smartass, and basically he outlined how they are in there, and from then on, I was just like,
I would advise folks who go to the jail to shut the front door, and the small amount of aggression you receive from the jailers, tiny. Even if you get put in a chair, or if you get put in a skirt, or if they decide to cuff you up, if you do anything extra from there and you're already out of order,
you're asking for it.
Yeah. There's just so you know, and I wouldn't ever endorse this, but from what I understand, at a lot of the jails across America, Lawrence County, Franklin County, I could just 20 different counties, lots of jail deaths from people who go in 25, 30, 35 years old, perfect. They're not old like this guy here, 48, 49 years old. What were you again? 47?
47, yeah.
Yeah. Old as dirt over here. So, but young people.
How old are you, Officer Castro?
I'm 48.
Okay, go ahead.
So, you know, I just want to make sure I try to. You poke the bear all the time when you go out with your camera and you annoy the cops. So I'm just giving it back to you while I finally got you on here. Everybody can see that, you know, we're not the beta males. You guys are the beta males. Okay. So back to what I was saying though, if you do go to that jail, you better be careful, because my prison guard brothers in blue, they will deal with you. So then who picks you up?
Some of the nastiest people I've ever seen in my life.
Well, remember, they're trying to tweak you so that you snap.
They do a good job.
Right. Remember, if you snap, what happens?
Keep order.
Keep order. We're keeping order all over you. So you get bailed out, and then you got to sit there, and then they do you a huge favor, which I hope that you wrote a thank you letter. And then
I'm working on it.
Who picks you up from the jail?
Chuck Bronson, Eyes on the State, and Joey Surreal picked me up from the jail at 7:30 in the morning. God bless them. Thank you so much, guys. Again, I can't thank you enough.
Couple of real pieces of shit on YouTube, just trying to get clicks and likes and views, trying to get comments, hoping they super chat them. Someone send me a super chat. Like that's
yes, Officer Chille, and their subscribers actually donated the money to get me out, and I wish I could call them all personally to thank them.
My name is Officer. You. That's my name. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. So these two guys, these other two hoodlums, come and bail you out, and then now see, this is the part. Three hood rats running around with their camera. I'm filming cops. Look at me. I'm for justice. So here's the part that people don't talk about when they talk to other people about their jail experience. And this is the part, because I have arrested the same guy dozens of times. And
can I talk for 1 second, sir? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What did you say?
I'll talk to the audience while he's away, because
Did I not say that?
You know,
Eyes on the State. I don't know if I said Eyes on the State. Him too. He really helped me. Go on.
Okay, cool. You just giving a shout out to one of their hoodlum brothers. What's his name?
Yes,
the State. Eyes on the State. If anybody finds his channel, do me a favor and make me aware of that channel so that we can keep eyes on the hoodlums in our country. All right, so here's the part that people don't talk about, and I want to talk about it with you a little bit because I want to unwrap this so that people really understand. When you get out of the pristine, pretty, perfect jail with the sweet order-keeping guards, and then you leave there, you kind of debrief with your hoodlums, and then when you get home, do you fall right to sleep?
No.
Tell me what that's like. When you get home and you're starting to unwrap what has happened to you, do you cry? Do you cry?
What made me want to cry is how everyone came together and bailed me out. That's what made me want to cry. I was very humbled by that many people care about what I do and what I think and my ideas. But the only thing I was worried about is my wife. My wife's the best woman in the world, and the fact that she lets me do these things without whatever you call it, without any resistance, is a testament to who she is. So I'm only worried about upsetting my wife. Other than that, you know, well, I care about everybody, don't get me wrong, but she's number one.
Well, tell me about the experience, though, because this is something that if people have not been arrested and gone through the process, then I want you to help me understand when you go home and you get to your wife, you finally give your wife a hug, and what's the next few hours like when you get home?
Talking with her about what happened and what's gonna happen, and I took like an hour-long shower because I felt disgusted, and eventually, you know, talk in bed and fall asleep.
Right. How were the dreams?
I don't know. I didn't really have any dreams.
And when you wake up the next day, was it the first thing you thought about as I was in jail?
The next day is when things start sinking in, and it wasn't until later on in the day when I start to realize the gravity of the situation and that I can actually do time for shining a flashlight at a cop's feet.
So we're going to go into that. From what I understand, you did a little bit of research here, and we know the Florida statute that you're charged with, and we're going to take a look at that. But now, when you were on the scene yesterday, what did you ask the officer to identify himself with his name and badge number?
Many times.
Okay. And did that officer identify himself?
He refused. Him and the guy next to him, the one that was driving an unmarked car.
Okay. And
so I didn't even know. Technically, I didn't even know they were officers. They had the costume on. Don't get me wrong. They had the vests on, but just like we see right here, right now, anyone could be wearing that costume, right?
Right. Yeah. You got a point there, don't you? You got a point there, John. I mean, just because you're a hoodlum doesn't mean that you're dumb.
Thanks.
I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to pull up your arrest video right here.
Go ahead.
And I'm going to show the people here what kind of hoodwink stuff you were doing yesterday. And I want to go through this just kind of bit by bit so that the people can see that John was acting like an absolute and total hoodlum. He was interrupting everything we were doing. So this is John. This is the beginning of it. Now, right here, is the back and forth is going to begin with this. So
these people are getting lucky.
So do you see right here? What can you guys see? Let me take a look at the. Sorry about that. Let me get John and I's ugly face off there. And then right here, you're going to be able to see, if you take a look, you see the light hit the ground. There it is right there. Okay. So John
interprets for him.
You were on the road. We don't need to hear it. And they're talking back and forth. And right here, you're going to flash that. Let me listen.
Funny, huh? You understand that? They sound like when they.
Let's take a look at that flash.
Don't understand. He just gives it the. Oh, he thinks that's funny, huh?
Oh, now right there, you got him in the face, John. You got him in the face.
Earlier in the video, though, he was shining his light in my face.
Oh, and he was.
Oh yeah, and mind you that I was doing this. I did shine in their face a few times, but they never said a word up until I started saying Zig Heil every time they pulled somebody over. They finally got tired of me, and then they used the flashlight as a reason to arrest me. And
what does Zig Heil mean?
You know, I don't know exactly what it translates into. I just know they would say that in World War II Germany. Doesn't it mean victory or something?
I don't know what the exact definition of it is. I was hoping you would know the answer. But so now he flashes the light at you. You flashlight him. Let's hear.
You understand?
Let's hear what the cop says right here.
They sound like when they understand that language.
So they don't say a word right there.
They didn't say a word up until the very end of my video because I was using the flashlight most of the whole time.
Okay, so there was a flashlight there. And now look down here at the bottom on the square on the bottom. You guys can see what I'm looking at in the lower right-hand corner. That's a car flat. There's the light again. Okay, let's take a look at where that light went.
But the cops all knew who I was.
Like 50 miles an hour.
They never even took my light.
How fast he went there? Holy crap! That would suck if one of these guys got ran over. Standing in the dark.
They don't really seem to have too much of a problem with what you did. It didn't seem to be interfering with them or obstructing too much.
No, not till they got tired of my speech. Honestly.
Let's see when you said Zig Heil.
For SUVs got one of those.
You hear those other hoodlums over there talking with him?
I do.
What's up, my man?
Let's kind of scrub real fast so we can just see where he's going to say Zig Heil. I want to see if the conduct of the officers changes. There's the flashlight again.
Yep.
The Zig Heil was every time. I was
letting everyone go by for some.
The Zig Heil was what?
Every time they stop somebody and force them to go into the private bank property, I would say it. And here towards the end, they just completely stopped pulling people over.
Yeah, I saw that. I think that they were on the radio.
Or on the phone, yeah. Or
right.
Both.
I think when we see them texting right here, I think that when we see them, so this cop over here, he's going to start texting in a second. Mm-hmm. And I think that when that happens, I think he's planning your arrest.
Yeah, they're conspiring at that point.
So now let's just hear what he says right here, because it looks like he says something. Let's hear what he has to say.
Peace. What law is that? From work, we don't need freedom. Really traveling around a free country. We don't need that in this country. We don't need freedom. We need our police to crack down on people trying to get home from work.
Stop shining the light in my face. You're blinding.
It is not in your face.
What law is that?
It is not in your face. Who are you?
The only way it would be in your face is if you stick your head between your legs.
What's your name?
Please turn the light off in my face.
What is your name?
Clearly
Well, the second time it wasn't in his face.
on the ground, moron. Are you deaf, dumb, and blind?
So now these gentlemen have not identified themselves to you. Is that correct? They haven't identified to you yet?
Never once did they identify themselves.
So you don't even know if they're actually cops or not.
I have no clue.
Okay. So
What's your name? Okay, don't ask me to do stuff you won't even identify, according to your policy.
How do we even know you're a cop?
All of it.
You won't ID.
So you guys verbally begin to complain and joust about that they won't identify themselves to you.
Yes.
So the flashlight going on multiple times now, these gentlemen won't identify themselves. There has to be some doubt in your mind that these are actually even cops.
I'm pretty sure they're supposed to ID themselves, especially if they're going to take action against you.
Nobody
without warning, maybe say, I'm Officer so-and-so, and if you don't stop that, I'm going to put you under arrest for obstruction. No warning, no nothing. All they did was call a couple, 2-3 goons from the 50 that were standing back there doing nothing to come and pick me up.
I mean, nobody would ever dress up in a cop costume and pretend they were a police officer, would they?
I doubt it.
That would never happen. Nobody would ever.
Officer DeCastro, may I use the restroom and take a couple quick puffs?
Go ahead. Come
All
back.
right, I'll be right back. Thank you.
We'll see. We'll see in a second. Let me know when you're back, John. So, part of the reason, hello, everybody. Good to see you guys. Good to see everybody in here. Dan Hanlon, Katie, Gloria, and Qualified Immunity. Good to see you. Chuck Bronson's in the house. Everybody, Chuck Bronson, make sure you get over here to Chuck Bronson and subscribe. I dressed up like a cop because there's a very important point to what John is going through and what John is saying with Chuck Bronson, who was at the scene. You can hear Chuck talking. Anybody can put on a cop suit and you wouldn't know if they were a cop or not. The gentleman asked the police officers on the scene if they were cops, asked them to identify their name and identify their badge number. And as you can see, almost anybody can go down. You can go down and for less than $500, you can rent an exact cop replica clown suit. I mean, police officer uniform. So that's what my point is here today, is that absolutely anybody can put on a badge and put a radio on and put some cones out. And the reason why we have the Badge Transparency Act of 2020 didn't pass. It got wrapped into another bill. And we do have a badge transparency law. I'm just not sure what it is. It's wrapped into a big bill. But just so everybody knows, the original bill was HR 7711, which was the Badge Transparency Act of 2020 that got wrapped into another bill and it got passed. So just put that in your pipe and smoke it. Okay. So anybody, though, the reason why we have the 2020 Badge Transparency Act that eventually was passed in another bill is because we need to be able to identify the police in the United States of America. We need to be able to say, what's your name and badge number? And they identify who they are. It's only fair. And the idea now that states and counties and boroughs, and if it happens in your town where they're going to blur out the face of the cop in the body cam footage, you guys need to sue. You need to go after that. I'll tell you what, if they had blurred the body cam footage of my arrest in Vegas, if they had blurred the body cam footage of my arrest in Ohio, I would sue them for violating you can't do it. And we have to fight back. We've got to fight back. And the way we can fight back is by going at them with petitioning, with your lawsuit, by filing your complaint. For the love of God. And you know what? Tomorrow night, set the live DLZ clips. Tomorrow night, I'm going to teach you guys how to use ChatGPT to file your FOIA, to file your demand for return of property, to file your body cam request, using the sunshine laws in your state. I learned so much on ChatGPT this past week. I'm going to share it all with you tomorrow. There are people here in this chat now who I've sent this video to that I'm going to show tomorrow. And I'm going to go over it in amazing detail. It'll be an hour tomorrow. Set it aside. You're going to learn how to use ChatGPT. Right now, I guarantee you, because I was the same way. A lot of you were just trying to figure out how to use it, trying to figure out what I can get out of this thing, asking direct questions. Hey, who were the judges on the Supreme Court during the Dred Scott holding? And it'll give you the list of the judges who were on the Supreme Court during the Dred Scott holding of 1857. I saw a video that one of the moderators sent me, and when I saw the video 10 days ago, since then, ChatGPT has come alive. It's unbelievable what I'm going to teach you tomorrow. It is unbelievable. Your entire game in accountability just changed. The way you're going to be able to file your records with the police departments to get your demand for return of property, to get the body cam footage, to FOIA the information that you need just changed. I will stop getting emails of people saying, Chille, can you file a demand for return of property for me? Can you? Because remember, I put them up there before where I was trying to do customized for each individual person, a demand for return of property or for the body cam footage, whatever I was going to do. Tomorrow, you guys will learn how to do it yourself. Tomorrow is a huge learning opportunity. And then make sure you guys share that video, because tomorrow night, I'm going to teach you guys exactly how it's done. You ready to go, Johnny? You good? Are you good, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Thank you for that, sir.
So now let's just go into it a little bit more here, because I want to just show them what happens here.
Impersonating.
You want
translate.
What's that, John?
I didn't say that was the video.
Oh, well, you shut the front door, okay? We're busy right now.
Yes, sir.
That means name and badge number in Pig Latin.
He's locked up the shoes. Officer safety. Officer safety.
He's screaming officer safety because Terry versus Ohio.
He's making my shoes shine.
Okay, hold on. We're going to fast forward. Oh, this is the last couple minutes. Let's just watch it through.
What's up?
Tony macaroni.
I wonder why he stopped pulling people over now.
Yeah.
So he's got the light. Now, John, that's the third or fourth time you flashed the light out of them after they told you to stop. Was there any warning that you would be arrested if you didn't stop what you were doing?
No.
Did they say to you that if you don't stop doing this, I'm going to place you under arrest?
Never once.
Okay. So now we've seen John flash the light on these people, and they're kind of having a, what do you call it? An ego contest, keeping it PG here. So they're seeing who's got the bigger ego. And so they're going back and forth here, flashing the light. Cops flash the lights at your face. So John Filax is returning the favor of flashing the light at them, but no warning for arrest and no identification.
You do look like Gary DeWitt.
It's not in your face, dummy.
It's clearly.
I'm shining it on your shoes.
Oh, it is not.
Who are you? Identify.
He's doing like the stop resisting when nobody's
New school.
resisting at
What's
all.
up?
So now at this point, they've stopped stopping any cars because they're plotting your arrest.
Right.
Okay, so there's a minute of this video.
You're making it hard for people to be free.
Now here. I know it, right, Charlie? They always complain about the flashlights, but they do it to everybody else.
Oh, so then it's exactly as I said, John. You guys are pushing back that they put the flashlights at us, but you're not putting them in the face. You did put it in the face one time.
I did early on, and they did because they did it to me. But for the most part, it was at their waist or at their shoes. Never.
Okay.
They come.
Oh, here comes a whole bunch of them now here. Look at them.
There we go.
Always complain about the flashlights, but they do it to everybody else.
There they come.
Oh, here comes a whole bunch of them now here. Look at them.
There we go. Piggy time.
Now you have now because they haven't warned you, you have absolutely no idea that these guys are walking over to arrest you.
No clue.
Oh man, and so okay. So I'm frustrated.
All right, sir. Put your hands behind your back, man. Just fun back, sir.
For what?
What law? Journalists can't use lights.
Multiple warnings about what? Obstruction of what?
No, not multiple warnings, multiple saying, get the light out of my face. Stop shining that light at me. But no warning that if you don't, you're going to be placed under arrest. And you don't even know if they're cops.
Right. Technically, no.
Obstruction, huh?
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's his property.
Yep.
He's taking it.
Oh, you're gonna steal property, huh?
It's going to get confiscated.
Oh, it is, huh?
Let's go.
Are you guys gonna be any good tonight? Let's go. Look at these pigs.
Now, right there, John's being tortured, everybody. Right there, I just want to point out this video right here, right now, what you're seeing happen right here, right this second, in this moment, they're torturing him. They've put the torture cuffs on him, and John already said that they put him on tight, number one. Number two, he doesn't stretch, he doesn't work out regularly. And so right this second, what you're seeing John be tortured. You're hearing John be tortured.
Yep. That's all right, John. I'll be down to bail you out in just a little while, man. Yep. Yep. I'll be down to bail you out in just a little while. We got you. Don't worry. You guys can't even identify. We got you. We got you. Strong arm.
I'd like
Look
my
at it.
property to go to them.
Let's go.
Big officer, piece of shit.
You're a piece of gum.
Fuck you. Go ahead.
They couldn't wait to shut off my live stream. They could not wait. And my body cam ran a little longer. And I said, don't turn that off. He's like, I'm turning it off. I don't want the battery to die. And I go, I don't care if the battery dies. Don't turn it off. I'm turning it off.
So he violated your First Amendment right. You were being pressed.
Not only that, I believe he's tampering with evidence because the camera captures evidence, obviously.
Right. No, I don't know any case law on that. So I wonder if that would be a case law that you're tampering with evidence if you turn the camera off. I think there is case law that it is a violation of your First Amendment, but I'm not sure if I closed that page a little bit too soon. But so now when they're taking you off right there, this has never happened to you before, right? That was your first time.
Yep.
So what's going through you? How are you feeling? Well, number one, your wrists hurt and your shoulders hurt right away. I know that.
Well, my wrist hurt, and then later on, my shoulders started burning. Yes.
So right away,
I asked him. I go, why are you wrenching my hands? And these cuffs are not on properly. It felt like one hand was turned 90 degrees and the other one was 180. It was weird, like they were perpendicular.
A lot of people will say that it feels like the handcuffs are on backwards.
It was awkward. It wasn't natural.
Right.
They claimed that the way they were doing it was how they operate, but I think they did something funny there, and I can't see back there obviously, and then my recordings are down, so that I can't prove anything, and I'm sure that's the way they want it.
Well, I think that they're torture, and I know that they were designed for slaves out of the Delaware colony. The Delaware colony created the torture cuffs, and the Delaware colony was originally Dutch and Swedish, and really unique history of the Delaware colony. But one of the things of history that people don't really talk about is that they created the torture cuffs, and the cuffs were specifically made for bad slaves and also to imprison slaves. And even the 13th Amendment today says that if you're locked up, that you are a slave. So we still have some holdovers here from the 20th century, 19th century that are still happening today. So now you're walking away and you know they're taking you away. What are you feeling?
Honestly, dude, I'm just thinking about my wife. The last thing in the world I want is for her to be upset. I guarantee her I wouldn't get arrested because I don't do anything illegal, really. And that's where my head goes. She saved my life, dude, when I met her. And that's what I'm thinking about, my wife. Honestly.
Man, so now what property of yours do they snatch?
Eyes on the State tried to grab my tripod and he snatched it out of his hands. I asked them to give my property to them. They refused. They took my flashlight as evidence, and they took my pistol. I told them, I said, can I just tell you guys something real quick for safety reasons? like, we're gonna go to this car. We could talk. I go, just so you know, there's a pistol on my waistline right by my right hand there, and they actually thanked me for that. And
really?
yeah, and so my pistol and my tripod and my translator went to safekeeping or something like that. And then my flashlight they impounded for evidence. And then my body cam, keys. They also took a knife that I had on a keychain.
And have you gotten that property back?
No, not yet. I'm gonna start working on that tomorrow with the way you told me to do it.
Okay. So
go ahead.
No, I just want to make sure, if you want tomorrow, we can go over that a little bit over the phone and we can work on it. But, I showed John the Chat GPT video I'm showing tomorrow night, and maybe it's good stuff. Maybe we should record that, you and I, and I'll show you guys using Chat GPT how to file for a demand for return of property. And that right there is going to help. I don't know about you, John, but I get hundreds and hundreds of emails of people who tell me the cops took my property and I can't get it back. So from what I've learned, the little tiny bit of knowledge that I know is that you can file a demand for return of property, and then depending on which state you in, homie, you can then file a writ of mandamus and force a hearing to get your property back. This is what I've learned. You guys are welcome.
What's a writ of mandamus?
A writ of mandamus is where you're mandating or forcing the court to move. You're saying, I want the court to move. And so depends on which state you're in. There's going to be different kinds of things in different states. In the states that I was in, it was in a writ of mandamus and the research that I did. So, but using ChatGPT, I will show you guys how to know after you file for your demand for your return of property, then do you file a writ of mandamus, or is it another type of thing that you file with the court to move the court to have a hearing about your property? So the things that you listed, the only list of contraband, just so everybody knows, is what was used in the criminal act. So the criminal act that they're charging John with was flashing a light. So the flashlight that they took is going to be understood as contraband in the legalese words. The other items, his gun, his knife, his tripod, none of those were used in the commission of his so-called or accused crime. So he has a right to demand his property back. And if he doesn't get his property back, he has a right to file a writ of mandamus or whatever is similar in the state of Florida. And we're going to teach you guys that tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we're going to learn that. And hopefully, John, you get your stuff filed and we can show it. Chuck Bronson, I sent you a StreamYard. If you want to jump on, I want to hear what Chuck Bronson has to say as well. So now, what do you want to say? I came on in character and I was playing games here because I want people to see that anybody can dress up in a cop costume.
Right.
You ask those cops to identify 10 times and they refuse. Right. So now
and I asked for the supervisor several times. He refused.
Right. They're playing
act like they can't hear you when they don't want to answer something. They just act like they can't hear you.
Right. They're playing little bubblegum games. So you're playing little bubblegum games, and then they have the power to arrest you. So they do. So, but is there anything that you want to say to the people who are watching about your history, anything? Because I know this was kind of a fun thing, but at the same time, it's extraordinarily serious. They took him off to a dungeon. I mean, just from what he understood, having to assume the position and the way they felt him up and put their hands that for me, John, just so you know, the worst part of being arrested, 2 dozen, 3 dozen times in my life was the way they would search you with their fingers. That to me, even the strip searches I went through, it was degrading, demoralizing, dehumanizing. Oh, it was horrible. Strip searches are horrible. But the actual physical aggressively touching me, putting their fingers, literally, they take their fingers and they put them in the dark places and they try to get them into the dark places. I mean, so it's really.
Once they have the gloves on, man, you better brace yourself.
The murder gloves?
Just the gloves. Once a cop or anybody starts putting on gloves, something's about to go down.
As soon as you see these murder gloves start to go on, I call them murder gloves because every time I see them on, someone's dead.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Every time I see them putting on the gloves, someone's been killed. horrifically, terribly by the police. So now you're charged with obstruction. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a misdemeanor or a felony?
A misdemeanor.
I believe it was, was it 943? Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's the definition of a law enforcement officer in Florida. What was that code again?
I don't have the paper in front of me, but I think it was like 84302 or something along those lines. You want me to grab the paper out of my car?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Spoiler alert, I went over this last night because if Chuck Bronson and Eyes on the State and the Patriots who stood up for this man didn't get him out of jail, you know who would have. You know we would have. You know that. We would have been doing an emergency live last night to raise the money. I would have gone on at midnight, whatever time it took. I'm not going to watch a guy go to jail on camera who doesn't belong in a dungeon. Not when I have a channel with 300,000 people. I will raise the money and get him out of jail. I don't care if I have to e-beg for 3 hours. I'll do it. And that goes for anybody who goes to jail and I can see on camera and you're an activist and you're going, I've bailed people out of jail who are not activists. I can't watch someone go to the dungeon unjustly, unfairly. And the place that they're going also, just so you know, when we shine the light here at Teams Elite Laws, when you guys start calling the jail, it then puts the jail guards on notice that you can't just kill this one. I feel bad for, is it 84301? Thanks, Chuck Bronson. I appreciate that. So let's take a look at that real quick. It's going to be Florida. I'm going to look this up and show you guys there it is. It's 84302. It's 84302. Oh, I'm sorry, 84301 and 84301 is obstruction. 843. Okay, let me share this with you guys, what I'm looking at, so you guys can see what he was charged with. So this is going to be Florida Penal Code 84301. Florida statute. It is a criminal act to knowingly and willfully resist, obstruct, or oppose any law enforcement officer by committing a violent act towards the officer or offering to commit a violent act. That's not it. It's got to be 84302. It was a resist. The plain language of it is to let me see if he came back. Let's go like this. What is that code you have?
843.02 resisting.
I got that one now.
Without violence.
Mm-hmm. And that's what all your charges are, is resisting?
Yeah.
How can they charge you with resisting when you willingly went with them? When you just submitted?
They're saying that I resisted his lawful orders of, can you please stop putting that in my face?
But he didn't say it was a lawful order. He didn't give you any kind of warning.
Nope.
And then
if I knew they were going to arrest me, I would have taken my flashlight and stuck it in my pocket, and I would have been done with it.
Right. And so there was no warning on that. They just came over and arrested you. And so then if anybody wants this and you guys want to take a look at it, what we looked up last night was the Tampa Police Handbook right here. This is the City of Tampa Internal Audit Department book, policy and procedure manual for the Tampa Police Department. And so this is 140 pages. I think John's going to take a look at it over the next few days.
I'm going to read the whole thing.
And then if anybody here wants this, I can put the link on my website, or you guys can just look it up. I got this offline. It wasn't hard to find. Policy and procedure manual for the City of Tampa Internal Audit Department. And in here, you're going to find that the Tampa Police Department, and I haven't found it yet. Inside of there that there's going to be a policy that says that they have to identify themselves. You're going to find that in there.
Sure.
So there's, a few thousand people will watch this by the time we're done. And so I guarantee you that you probably won't have to sit and read that whole thing if you don't want to, because the internet's an amazing thing, as you know.
I'll read it anyway.
Now that I've shown people where to look, they'll look for sure. And
Okay.
so this is, I've read the Las Vegas, the Nevada Peace Officer Standards and Training Manual, but just thumbing through this last night before I fell asleep, there is so much garbage in this that is not followed. They're not following the rule of law. If there is a rule of law that government and its officials are to adhere to the rule of law and are not immune for the rule of law, then if you read this right here, you're going to find out that the Tampa Police Department is breaking the law every single day. I mean, every day.
Sure. You mean their own policies?
Their own policies and procedures. So
Yeah.
City of Tampa Internal Audit Department, Policy and Procedure Manual. So now you guys know where to look. Don't be shy. Shoot me any information you find in there that, and then John, if you would do me a favor, I don't just raise money blindly. What I have been doing is taking it in PayPal and Venmo, but what I'd like for you to do, if you would, is start a GoFundMe that I can drive the traffic over there once or twice a week. And typically when I drive the traffic over there, $1,000 or $2,000 is raised almost every time. So if you create a GoFundMe, because you have to get a lawyer, you have to get So that lawyer is going to cost you between $3,000 and $5,000 at the start. So that's just to get going. So if you set up a GoFundMe, then I will drive the traffic over by your GoFundMe, because my 501c3 is almost set up. And then as soon as that is set up, then I'll never take Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App in my own account ever again. I can't wait. I can't wait. You have no idea.
Okay.
So if you do that, then I'll help you raise the money.
Okay.
And I'm sure that there's other people who will also. I'm going to
just let me add there. I hate to ask anybody for money. I've never asked anybody for money since 2011. I've had YouTube, but this is a different situation where I can't just go in pro se and risk, because of my ignorance of procedure and law, and the fact that the courts can't stand pro se litigants. I really need a lawyer this time, and I really need some sort
John,
of funding.
You're so gracious, and thank you for saying that. But just so you know, I've raised millions of dollars in my lifetime for lots of companies, and what I ask people to do is let me do the e-begging. Let me do the e-begging for you. And if you want to do a live on your stream, I'll help you do the e-begging there. I'll do the e-begging on my stream, because I've raised literally millions of dollars in my life. I have tons of investors in LA. Everybody tried to find somebody that I had done wrong, and they just couldn't. So, I'll do the e-begging for you. And if it's only 3,000 to 5,000, then it'll take us a couple of times, but typically you only need to come up with 2 or 3 for the initial payment to the lawyer. And then he's going to want a couple more when you go into the first pre-trial, or when you go into trial, because there's going to be a couple of months here of kind of a funny space month, or because you have to get discovery, and there's a little bit of a process here. And then you get the first couple grand into them, and then you get the next couple. I know, because I've had to do this past year while I've been arrested and stuff. Let me bring on Chuck Bronson. What's up?
Yay.
What's up?
You guys know I never do panels. You're literally the first panel I think I've ever had.
Hi, Chuck.
So what's your take, Chuck? Tell me about how all this went down from your perspective, because I could hear you in the background saying some stuff as it was going on.
Well, that state statute, first of all, that's one problem I've had, and somebody needs to fight it. That's something I'm going to work on, I think, with my lawsuit from my arrest. But we really need to, because it doesn't say anything about a lawful order, unlawful order. It's a very vague statute. And I think that's something important we really need to deal with here. Because basically it's like you read, it basically says if you don't listen to any order a cop gives you, he can arrest you for it. If the cop says, go bang my dog, and you don't do it, he can legally arrest you for it. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Let me stop real quick and say thank you to Samuel for the $100. Listen, if you guys want to donate right away, hit my Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App and put Filax, Filax on the guy right there. Put Filax on the Cash App. And at the end of the day, you know what I do? I take a screenshot of each one of them and I post it. So if you want to donate, because I can only give half of that super chat, Samuel, because YouTube takes so much. Where meanwhile on Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App, there's hard receipts, and I have to answer to the tax man every year. So I want to make sure that if you guys donate, if you want to donate right now, hit my PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App, and make sure you put Filax on there. Filax, John Filax. Put it on there. If you don't put it on there, I won't allocate it into his fund. And he's going to get a GoFundMe going right away. So as quickly as you can, John, if you would get that GoFundMe going, because
first thing in the morning.
I do not want to. I want to stop taking money through my Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal, and have my nonprofit take the money in. And that way, if there's any excess money, then I can have that in a kitty, because I got money coming back. I pray to God if Floyd Wallace goes to court. So,
all right. Thank you, Sam.
Thanks, Sam, for your super chat. God bless you, man. I just wanted to pop in and say that real quick. So go ahead, Chuck. I didn't interrupt you.
And I think, which was another thing that was covered in this too, was, the fact that the cops wouldn't identify as cops. So, and that's why you can hear me in the background saying, blah, 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 saying, how do we even know you're a cop? To me, you look like that Jeremy DeWitt guy, that police impersonator.
Okay, so so there was a little back and forth right there. So this is at double speed. Let me go back down to normal speed, but watch right here. So you flash the light at them, and they haven't identified themselves. So then he flashes the light at you,
and he holds it in my face for a good while.
So you
I
guys
put it in his face.
Okay, let's listen to this real quick. Let me put this at regular speed, and let's hear what these guys are saying, because it looks like a big ego contest to me, which is fine, because I got a gigantic ego, so I don't mind an ego contest, but one of us doesn't get to rest the other one at the end of it.
Okay. So you see, this guy doesn't like. I'm trying to read your name, okay? Since you won't give it to me.
He's saying, since you won't give me your name tag, now they're playing the game because these guys won't identify according to Tampa policy.
Sir. Okay, there you go.
So now they're flashing the light in each other's faces, and they're both being jerks to one another. We agree on that.
That's called prior restraint. Now you're breaking the law.
I mean, the pigs are in the street being jerks in the Nazi checkpoint, so they started it, in my opinion, but I'm biased.
Oh.
So are you still flashing the light at him at this point, John?
I can't tell, honestly.
I can't tell
I don't
either.
think so. No, I would say no. You're gonna, when he lights them up.
Yeah, because you can see their yellows light up. I just want to see if it's. So now,
what's your name?
Okay, so there's no light on his chest or on the other guy's jersey. So you've put the light down now, and he's still flashing it. Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't. John never just holds it there, and just keeps it there. He just flashes it for 5 seconds. And
what's your name and badge number?
So he's a.
Dude, that thing's weak, bro. What's your name and badge number?
I think my light is on him at this point, because you can see the
name and badge number. You realize what you're doing is illegal, right? I'm trying to get your information. You won't.
No, you were not flashing in his face, because if you were,
right? I'm trying to get your information.
When he put his light down, you would have seen your light was still on him. So okay, there you can see light on him there, but then right there's no light on his chest. You see what I'm looking at? Go back there. It looks like you're shining the light on his chest. There's no light on his chest there. There's the light on his chest again. Okay, you can see literally on his jersey when we zoomed in like this, when you're flashing it on him. There's no light on him there. There's no light on him there. Okay, so now let's keep the time here. This is at 41:47, 41 minutes and 47 seconds.
Sir.
And that's when he begins, 41:48.
Okay, there you go. That's called prior restraint. Now you're breaking the law.
So now it's a big ego contest over who's got the bigger flashlight.
What's your name and badge number?
Okay, now you're flashing the light back at him. You can just see it trace over his face.
What's your name and badge number? Dude, that thing's weak, bro.
So he said his flashlight was bigger. You said your flashlight was bigger. Who's got the bigger flashlight, boys and girls?
Me.
What's your name and badge number?
You're demanding what's in his policy, and somebody will tell me the exact number.
Name and badge number. You realize what you're doing is illegal, right?
So now I believe at this point, he's going to walk away and make that call. And we're at 42:18. What do we start at? 42:48.
Something like that.
I'm trying to get your information. You won't give.
That was roughly 22, 23 seconds.
it to me. Excuse me?
Now you see it's at
What are
its
you doing?
worst.
Identifying a light as a threat.
He's
Okay,
trying
there
to
we
use
go.
the
Now
spotlight,
what?
but
Over
it
there.
didn't hit us, so he stopped.
There you go. I'm shining it at your feet, not your face. Okay. There you go.
Okay.
Are you going to identify? Are you going to identify?
Here he's calling to try to get permission.
Right there. Right there. He's
This isn't where he calls for backup. He's just trying to get permission to do something at this
to
point.
arrest you. Well, I don't know. They don't need permission. Any officer can arrest you anytime.
He's calling his
Okay,
supervisor.
they don't want to
He
identify.
screws up big time.
I'd like to speak to your supervisor, please.
Watch, you'll see him radio, and then you'll see the 3 or 4 cops walk over. I was watching it, and I told John, I said, John, they're coming
Can
for
I
you
just
right
go talk
now.
to your supervisor? You said his name was Del Monte, right? Is that right? Is that right?
So right there, they just blew each other kisses because he's going to go to jail real soon.
Oh,
Now, I think what they said there is just stand down and let him do what he's going to do, and we will we'll arrest him soon. We will arrest him soon. What is the penalty for 823.0?
1 year.
The penalty for 843.02 is 1 year in jail.
Up to a year. I think it's like 364 days because it's not a felony or something like that.
If you're a cameraman, they're going to max you out if they can.
Really?
Is that true?
Definitely.
Yeah, see, I've been getting different opinions. A lot of people saying it's your first offense. You're probably not even going to go to jail. Other people saying you might because you're an auditor. And, I don't like the fact that my freedom is up in the air like this over a flashlight war.
To resist a lawful enforcement officer without violence when the officer is engaged in the lawfully executed legal duty.
Oh, go to Black Law's dictionary and look up resist.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Chuck.
Or somewhere else, wherever you like to look.
No. I had another friend who used to send me pages of Black Law's dictionary, and I would kind of read it every day and kind of I'm just saying what I've come to understand is that the law and the application of the law and the spirit of the law and the letter of the law, it's nothing like we think. It's nothing like you or I believe. Black's law may say something that you and I would agree with. And then when you go into court, that's just a theory. The application of the definitions in the court with tyrannical judges who work hand in hand with prosecutors, who work hand in hand with police. If I'm a copper, I have meetings at the DA's office. I go in and sit down and talk with the assistant district attorneys. I have relationships with a lot of the people in that office. I may end up dating one of the district attorneys, assistant district attorneys, the assistants. I may end up having a relationship with them intimately because that's how much we see each other. That's how much DAs and cops are interwoven with one another. And then the prosecutors are interwoven with the judges. And all the defense lawyers are all wrapped up in the same group. So it's created a system.
But either way, he still needs to use that definition on his case.
Sure. I would say you have to get a lawyer and you have to fight. And then, we talked about a few things last night that I'll leave there, and then I would go offensive. I would definitely go offensive because,
Can he trust a lawyer? My experience is every single time I've ever got a lawyer for anything, they're like, yeah, we can beat this. Don't even worry. This is dumb. Give me, 2,000, 3,000, 6,000, 10,000. And then right before trial or right before it hits, I think you should just take a plea. Well, I didn't need to pay an attorney to take a plea.
How do you know what a good lawyer is, Chille?
Exactly.
How do you know if your lawyer is good or if the one you pick out? How do you pick the right lawyer?
I faced one time in my life 5 felonies at one time. and it carried 20, 25 years in prison if I got convicted of all 5 felonies. And I hired Robert Shapiro. So Robert Shapiro was O.J. Simpson's lawyer. I didn't know if he was a good lawyer or not. You know, eventually we did get a deal. We got a diversion because I literally had this much of a chemical that I openly admitted I was regularly using for physique, for bodybuilding, because I didn't want to take steroids. And eventually I got to a deal, and the same thing will happen here. Eventually you'll get downgraded. It's your first offense. You're 47 years old. Even if you're found guilty, it should be a slap on the wrist. Rachel Putney's in the room, everybody. Good to see you, Rachel. Make sure you guys get over here to her channel, subscribe to Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Chuck, John Filax, nice to meet Rachel. So, you know, you're just going to have to search. And that's what that's what I was saying to you. You know, you have to find your person. You have to find your lawyer.
Okay.
You know, and that's, you know, we got to be our own lawyer in knowing how to defend ourselves properly by finding the right lawyer. And listen, you guys know I don't like the system. I don't love it. I don't love what our system has become, but the system is the system. And I have a lawyer. I have a criminal defense in Las Vegas, Nevada. I hired a lawyer. Now, civilly,
I got no problem hiring a lawyer again, but I'm scared that
you should be scared.
That
you can stop it. You can stop. I'm scared. That's perfect. You should be scared. The state has arrested you and charged you with crimes, and the only solution for you is either a dungeon or a probation or a way that you're just under the thumb of the state. Yeah, freedom fighting is scary. Freedom fighting is scary, but you know. From my perspective, this is the best thing that's ever happened to you, because now you have the opportunity to show us all what it's like to go to court, what it's like to go through the process. You get to film that all. You get to show us all on your way to court. Please turn on your camera, live stream, and tell us how you're feeling. Tell me what's going on in your guts. Tell me what's going on in your soul. Tell me how you're really feeling. And then when you get out of court, and then bring your camera in the courtroom and see if they let you film. And when they tell you no and they make you turn your camera off, let's see it. Show us. Show us that they will violate your First Amendment right. Show us that you'll have no freedoms at the courthouse doors. Let's see it. We want to show it to us. Sure. You know, we'll follow your journey.
That's fine.
Yeah.
No problem.
And so it's an opportunity for all of us to see exactly the state that America has become. There's absolutely no reason you should have. From my perspective, it was an unreasonable arrest. As you guys know, a seizure is arrested. And in the Fourth Amendment, it protects us from unreasonable searches and seizures. Everything is based on a reasonableness standard. From my perspective, if I was the district attorney and before I sued the district attorney for malicious prosecution under the 2022 case of Thompson versus Clark, I would sue that district attorney immediately when they press charges against me. Before we even had our first pretrial, I would file a lawsuit against the state and the city and the district attorney for malicious prosecution. Because on the reasonableness standard, it is unreasonable for them to arrest you for flashing a light in their eyes. Number one, that shouldn't be arrestable. You should be warned, first of all, being arrested. Number two, for not identifying their police officers. And number three, for no warning at all whatsoever.
That's the big one for me. If they said stop or we're going to arrest you, that would have been done. That would have been it. Because I'm not looking to ever get arrested. I've never been arrested. I never try to do anything to get arrested. I just try to stay within my rights, in which I thought I was within my rights.
You were. I mean, look, from, you know, let's take a bootlicker's perspective. You were having an ego, a big ego contest. See who's got the bigger ego. And he had arresting power and he didn't warn you he was going to use it.
Right.
You know, because any reasonable person, and this is what I'm talking about, a reasonable standard here, any reasonable person, when you say, if you continue that action, I'm going to place you under arrest. Now reason enters the room.
They usually do say, if you don't stop, I'm going to put you under arrest.
Right.
It's like they wanted to catch me off guard like that.
Right. Like the famous Jeff Gray says, if you're threatening to arrest me, I'll leave.
Right.
So if he had said, if you continue to flash light in my eyes, then I'm going to arrest you, then reason has entered the room and I'm going to leave.
Right.
I don't want to get arrested either. You guys have seen me. If they threaten to arrest me and say, I'm going to arrest you if you do that, unless I'm ready to take a stand and go to jail right now, which for me, it's like 95% of the time, I'm going to leave. I'm not going to get arrested. There's sometimes I can't go to jail. I got something going that weekend. It's my cousin's wedding. I can't go to jail right now. Or I missed something that I'll never get to go to ever again.
I'm honestly shocked that I went to jail.
Are you?
Yeah.
You flashed the flashlight in a pig's face.
And?
Do me a favor, everybody. Put a 1 in the chat right now if you would flash a flashlight in a pig's face. Put a 2 in the chat if you would not ever flash a flashlight in a pig's face. So put a 1 if you would, put a 2 if you would not, if you would be afraid to do that. And just be honest so that John can have an understanding of how far out on the limb he went. He took a chance. So Tom said,
I only reversed their behavior towards us on them.
I agree with your behavior, but I think that I think that you put yourself out in a position to be arrested. You push the boundaries of your rights, which I think you were still within your rights, within reason. I don't think you were being unreasonable. I don't think you, with a fair warning, you would have reasonably stopped your behavior. So I think that a lot of these people are saying that they would flash the flashlight in a cop's eyes. Just so you know, I wouldn't do it unless I was prepared to go to jail.
I didn't even think that. I've seen so many people do it online, never got arrested for it. I've seen so many cops do it to other people. I didn't even realize there was a law for that.
There's not.
There's not specifically for that, but they've twisted and woven the resisting statute to meet that standard without warning, without IDing, without anything. And plus they were doing it to me.
Okay. Well, Chuck, I'll let you go, man. Anything else you want to say real quick? I wanted to bring you back on for a minute. Chuck is streaming live on Kick as well. He's got a new thing he's doing on Kick. So if you guys want to follow him, get over to Chuck Bronson's channel. Everybody subscribe, please. He's a freedom fighter. All right, Chuck, thanks, bud. I'll see you later.
Later.
Okay, so you're going to start your GoFundMe tomorrow. And then Angel, I dressed up like this to prove a point because yesterday John Filax asked the cops to identify themselves and they wouldn't. And what I'm proving tonight is that absolutely anybody can dress up like a cop and pretend like they're doing a DUI checkpoint. And those 2 cops refused to identify. So that's the reason why I dressed like this. And I wanted to have a little confrontation with an auditor. So then tomorrow, your demand for return of property and
GoFundMe.
Okay, cool.
And then start the lawyer search.
And start your lawyer search. Okay, anybody? What part of town are you in Florida?
What city do I live in?
Yeah.
Land O'Lakes.
So if anybody knows a lawyer out in Land O'Lakes, you can start the referrals and start.
Or in the Tampa area. The Tampa area.
Then okay, cool. All right, John. Listen. Anything else you want to say before I let you go?
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me, dude. Thanks for the insight. Thanks for the help you're going to give me here in the future and any advice you're going to give me. And I don't give advice.
I tell you what I would do if I was you. If I were you, what I would do is this. If I were you, I have to be really careful with the words that I use. So then we'll see you. We'll check back with you tomorrow, the next day, and find out
I thought you were going to tell me what I would do if you.
Well, what I would do if I was you is I would get your demand for return of property done with that chat. Tomorrow I'm teaching that chat GPT video, so maybe the next night we can go over what you did. And then I would also file a complaint with the Tampa Police Department that you were wrongfully arrested. I'd file a formal complaint with them. And then I would wait to see if the DA is going to press charges against me. If the DA was going to press charges against me, I would immediately sue every single person involved for malicious prosecution based on that you arrested me for something that was completely unreasonable, that I got no warnings I was going to be arrested, that the cops wouldn't identify themselves, and that it was completely wrong to arrest me. It was unreasonable to arrest me for a light in someone's face. Even if I was being egregious, I still didn't get a warning. That
without warning is the biggest factor is without warning. It would have took one warning, one threat of arrest, and I would have been done.
I think the violation of their policy I would go down and I would file a complaint about the policy violation. And I would provide video evidence on a thumb drive or a disc. I think a lot of the police departments still take discs. But that's what I would do if I was you.
Will do, man.
That's what I would do if I was you. And then tomorrow's Tuesday. Let's check in Wednesday or Thursday, and I'll have DLZ clips, and I'll reach out to you, and we'll schedule another time to bring you back on so we can find out what exactly has gone on.
Okay, sir. Thanks so much for having me. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for the donations. I'm very humbled by you, and bless.
Bless you, brother. I'll see you on the next one, all right?
Have a good one, my man.
Later, brother. Okay. So great. Listen, I can't wait to get out of this frickin' pig suit. I cannot wait to get out of this pig suit. But Samuel, thank you so much for the super chat. Daniel, good to see you. Sonny, Douglas, what is going on? What is going on? Jack Booth, Thug Pigs, DLZ Clips, Chevy, Joy, what is going on? OTVO, Victor Rice. Everybody, do me a favor, hit the like button and then put in the comment section OTVO. Hit the like button and then put in the comment section OTVO. So as you guys know, within the next few days, I'll be promoting John Felix's GoFundMe. He probably should put his GoFundMe between $3,000 and $5,000, $2,000, $3,000 for the first one, so that he has the money for the initial payment, and then he's going to need another $2,000 or $3,000. So I'm going to do a fundraiser, and I'm going to put money into his GoFundMe, and I'm going to ask all of you to pull your wallet out and to pour money into his GoFundMe. I'm going to ask each and every person here, whether it be $5, $10, $20, $100, whatever you can give, I'm going to ask you to put the money directly into his GoFundMe. There's a bunch of loyalists here that can donate to my PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App, and I'll take the money and I'll stick it directly into his GoFundMe during the live. So I'm going to raise the money to help this guy, and I'm just going to sit here and e-beg until it's done, because this is my skill set. This is what I'm good at. I've been good at it since I was a kid. And so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the skill set that I have for the greater good. And no one person should be burdened with this, because this is for all of us. So I'm going to crowdfund it. So if you're not rich, don't worry about it. I'm looking for $5, $10, $15, $20. I'm looking for small donations from hundreds of people to fund this guy's attorney. That's what I'm going to do. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. And make sure if you donate to me, you put John Filax on the line. Filax, John Filax on the line. You might want to just wait till the GoFundMe comes out. And then if you donate to me, we take the money from my PayPal, stick it right in the GoFundMe. And then I don't like the pressure. That's why I started a 501c3, so that all the money can be accounted for in the 501c3. That's where I want to be. It's an amazing amount of pressure being responsible for money. But I also don't feel right if I just have you guys randomly donate to the ether. just random, it's just, no. We have to be focused, and we have to be intense, and we have to be very detailed. I think Press with Rancor is here. Press, let's do an update with you as well. I know Press with Rancor. Press, originally, when we were going to raise funds for your attorney, we were a smaller channel. We were stuck at 40,000 subscribers for like 6 months. So now that we broke out and we're at 300,000, raising $2,000 to $5,000 isn't as hard. It's easier because of guys like Dan Hanlon and Chevy and Chuck and a couple of names I can't say out loud, David and Tim, and there's people who donate to these causes now. So Press, I think that you should set up a GoFundMe as well. There was someone that was going to help you that's an attorney, and you needed to raise some money. So Press, I think you should create a GoFundMe as well, and we should try to help you too. Not try, we should just accomplish it is what we should do. That's what we should do, because we can. All it takes is me standing up here talking long enough, and we can raise the money for this guy. Like, it's so worth it. It's so worth it, because the fight we're fighting is not just for them. It's not just for Press with Rancor, and it's not just for John Filax. It's for all of us. The fact that you can be arrested, you can be drug off the street and taken to a dungeon for flashing a light at someone because it annoys them is absolutely unreasonable. The fact that Press with Rancor can be arrested because he was filming a cop, they knew who he was. They all knew who he was. They arrested him in a retaliatory manner because he flips off the cop in that town, and he's disrespectful to cops because we don't respect cops anymore. They've lost our respect. For you cops watching, you have lost our respect. You've lost us. You've lost the general public. It wasn't just that you arrested me time and time and time again before I had a camera phone. It was the way you act to me constantly now. I'm not allowed to fight you. I am not allowed to ball my fist up and fight you. It's not allowed in any good society. You can't go punching people. And the way you jackboot thug pigs act with me, like you're tougher than me. Let me tell you something, bud. I'm standing on mats. I'm in a dojo. I still train regularly. I'm not a walk in the park, and I'm not a sissy. So the way you guys act, like you can just kick my butt. The truth is it is offensive. It is offensive to me. It is offensive to me that you walk around and act like you could beat my butt. It really ticks me off, because the truth is I spent a lot of time fighting, and I'm super tough still, even though I'm old as dirt. And I don't want my ego to be challenged by a guy wearing a badge and a gun where I can't fight back. I want you to be kind and respectful and decent and courteous because you have a gun and a stick and a taser and back up. I don't want you to act like you're going to beat me up, because you're not. You can't. The only way you can do it is using the badge and gun. And that's why you've lost the respect of a lot of alpha males. That's why you've lost us. You walk around like you're tougher than me when I'm not allowed to fight you. I'm not allowed to defend myself. In Hollywood the other night, some jackboot thug pig ran his shoulder into me and then put the tape across my neck. And I was like, dude, I mean, you guys will hear it. I said, dude, stop acting that way. I'm here with 2 cameras filming. I'm just as tough as you, but I'm not allowed to fight back. We want peace officers who go by peace officer. We don't want law enforcers enforcing laws upon us. That is not the idea of the social contract at all. The social contract is intended for public servants to uphold the rule of law, to uphold our rights, to respect us, and to cause as little intrusion in society as possible as you are upholding the rights of free Americans. And that's the reason why you cops have lost us. You've lost us. You've lost the general public, and you know it. And the way I know it to be true is that you can't get anybody to sign up to be a cop anymore. The only people you can get to sign up are the worst of the society. So if you're signing up to be a cop, you are the lowest rung. You are the weakest person. You need the most coddling and guidance. You need the most. You're the weakest human being there are if you're signing up to be a cop in today's day and age. So I just wanted to be clear. I wanted to be clear as what you're seeing happen in our country, what you're seeing go on in our country. And now, just so you guys know, and I'm humbled and grateful, but now after I've been here for a couple years, you guys are starting to see that we are forming a team. You're seeing it. You're seeing people start to coagulate around, and the numbers of delete law is flying. It's not me, that's you. That's you. That's the 10,000 people tonight that the cops will send to YouTube to find somebody else who feels like them after they were badly abused by these jackboot thug pigs, after they were badly abused. And that's the reason why our numbers are growing so fast and so big, because every day, every single day, someone who backed the blue, it happened to you, and you don't anymore. The number one thing that people need is empathy. Let me give you a very simple example of understanding what empathy is. In every relationship, you and another person are in a ship. So how important is the relationship that you're in? It is critical, every one of them. When I walk out of my office every day, I pass the guy in the other office, and when I look out, give him a nod, and then I go on about my day. The man and I have formed an acquaintanceship. And every day when I walk out, I give him a nod, and he gives me a nod, and we walk out. The other day when I walked out of the office, Peter didn't nod at me. What's wrong with Peter? Is everything okay? Peter and I have formed an acquaintanceship. And when he didn't give me the nod the other day, what is going on around here? My relationship with Peter is on the meh, right? We have relationships with people that we don't even realize exist, and how important and how fragile empathy is. I don't understand why he didn't nod at me. So what happens when someone is abused by the police and they never in their life were a cop hater, they go to the internet and they're trying to find somebody else who they can say, man, this cop grabbed me and he put me in these handcuffs and he hurt my wrist and he was twisting my wrists up. And then they took me to jail and everybody was so mean to me. And they're looking for somebody to say, I understand. So let me tell you, I can't look at every video. I can't see everybody's story. There's hundreds of thousands of you. I understand though. And I'm sorry it happened to you. It breaks my heart that it happened to you. And it breaks my heart that nobody wants to take the leadership mantle to change it. It breaks my heart that people keep on electing Republicans and Democrats or the billionaires or the sons and daughters of billionaires, and they don't get a peon into an executive office. And that's what has to happen. I understand what happened to you. And I'm so sorry. I am so, so sorry. And there's nothing I'm going to say that's going to change how you feel. There's nothing I'm going to say that is going to make you in any way, shape, or form feel any better other than I understand. There was someone who was contacting me that sent me a video, is going through massive PTSD right now. I'll take a look at your video, bro. We actually, DLZ Clips and I tried to see it. We couldn't watch your video. So someone sent me a video and then they sent me just dozens and dozens of contacts. Bro, I'll watch your video, man. No problem. I'm inundated with hundreds of people saying, help me. That's why we're growing at 50,000, 60,000, 70,000 subscribers a month, because we actually help people. I hope I can see your video, bro. And I hope that I can find a way that I can help you too. I hope that there's something in there that shows me something that I can say, oh man, you can just do this and it's going to help you. I hope. I got to get out of this pig costume. I got to get out of this pig costume. Actually, I didn't bring any water. And so that's. The number one thing that the cop is looking for when he interacts with you is information. When the cop starts to talk to you, when he says, do you know why I pulled you over? Do you know you took a left over here? Do you know? They want information from you to prosecute you. That's the goal of the police. I was talking with someone the other day and it just came out of my mouth. The most powerful amendment we have right now is the Fifth Amendment. If you're not an activist and strongly pressing your First Amendment right, then you are a civilian and you have a strong Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. As a police officer, all I want you to do is talk. All I want you to do is speak. I just need you to say something to me that's going to give me reasonable, articulable suspicion, because as soon as I'm reasonably suspicious, you're going to go in handcuffs. You created a suspicion. I'm looking for you to talk. My goal when I start to talk to you is for you to talk to me. If you let that sink in for a moment, then you'll really understand the power of the Fifth Amendment. What's my goal? My goal is to arrest you, take you down to the dungeon, impound your car, and steal your money. That's what my goal is. And there's nothing you're going to say. There's nothing you're going to say that's going to change my perspective. I get bonuses and accolades and promotions and attaboys. I get more girls the higher up I go in the ranks. I'm going up and up and up in the ranks, and I'm single, and I'm dating all these officers who are cops. I'm dating officers in different precincts. And all I got to do is just arrest you for me to get promoted, for me to get into the captain's chair. I got to get enough rest and get enough bus. I need you to talk. I need you to give me something where I can say, ooh, I'm suspicious. Get the torture cuffs. And I can put you in torture cuffs. You have to immediately, right away, invoke your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. If you talk to me, I'm going to find a reason why I need to detain you. Do you understand that? Do you get it? My goal is to arrest you. My entire goal is to arrest you. I'm going to make more money if I arrest you. I need something. I need something to go on. I'm going to ask you, hey, where are you going? If you answer that question, then I'm going to say to you, then I'm going to say to you, if you tell me where you're going, then I'm going to say, cool. Where are you coming from? If you don't tell me where you're coming from, then I'm going to say to you, why are you not cooperating anymore? Can you step out of the car, please? That's the entire point. As a cop, all I need you to do is talk. If you say something, I got you. It doesn't matter what you say. If you say a dang word as a cop, I got you. The only words you can say that will stop me from having any further investigation is I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. If you don't say those exact words and you give me just give me a psh. Did you just give me a psh? Send another unit here, please. You're combative. You're combative. What are you making those sound effects for? All I asked you for was license, registration, and proof of insurance. That's all I did. And then you gave me a psh. Okay. Send another unit. I got one combative here. Step it up. You're combative. Hey, where are you going? I don't answer questions. Psh. I got a sovereign citizen here. Send another unit. You don't answer questions. What does that mean? You invoke your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. You know what? I know what that means. My qualified immunity can't hold up to that. As soon as you tell me I invoke the Fifth Amendment and it's on camera that you invoke the Fifth Amendment, I can't do another thing. I can't do anything else. I can tell you to get out of the car, and then I'm going to say I'm going to search your car. I invoke the Fifth Amendment to remain silent. If you say, no, don't search my car, then I think you're hiding something. If you say, yes, you can search my car, and then I go to search the car, and then you revoke consent, you can show me right in your trifold the law right there. I revoke consent. You can't park right there. I revoke consent. If you can give consent, then you can revoke consent. It's right there. Remember what my goal is. My goal is to arrest you. I get a promotion if I arrest you. My whole goal is to go back to the office with somebody in cuffs. You're telling me you're going to say something that's going to change my goal that I set on my way to work? You're telling me that you're going to change my mind? You really think you're going to change my mind? Put a 1 in the chat if you think there's no way that you're going to change my mind. There's no way you're going to change my mind. My goal is to arrest you. So I need you to talk. I need you to say something. I need you to say something. I need you to say something. Remember, the cops make more money if they arrest you. I make more money if I arrest you. It's all about the money, Lebowski. It's all about the money. I need your money. If I arrest you, I make more money. Don't you guys understand? Don't you guys get it? Am I not being clear? You're trying to talk your way out of a ticket. That was my goal, was to give you a ticket. You're trying to talk me out of arresting you. My goal is to arrest you. You're trying to talk your way out of anything with me. My goal is to get you to talk. My goal is to get you to talk. It's all about the money, baby. It's all about the money. I make more money by arresting you. 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 I'm just telling you. For every person who doesn't invoke your Fifth Amendment right, and then we see a video of you going to the dungeon, why didn't you invoke your Fifth Amendment right? Why didn't you stop talking? You were talking to the copper and you gave him all the ammunition he needs. All right. All righty, folks. All righty. I get it. No one likes to see me act like a pig. I get it. I don't like it either. I got to get out of here. The tribe is here. What's going on? Jeff hates pigs. Richie, what's going on, Richie? Andrew, how are you? Good to see you guys. Oh, you want me to do one more? Let me do one more. I got one. I got this one too. Listen, so we're recruiting police and we need you to sign up. And I know you guys have seen some videos and there's people saying cops are bad and all this stuff, but let me give you the upside. Let me give you the upside. First of all, you're untouchable. You're not going to get in trouble for anything if you toe the thin blue line. When you join the police, you have an entire brotherhood of brothers all across the country, all across the world. You make an instant friend. All you have to say is that I'm a cop too. And then, you know what? Even if you're out in public and something goes wrong and the cops show up there, you tell them you're a cop and whoever you're in the problem with, it's their fault. Yeah. Just think about that for a moment. You hate your neighbor? What about your brother? Say you hate your brother, right? You got an old friend from high school that you just can't stand? Listen, if you're a cop, you get to arrest him. You get to arrest his booty. You get to go and slap the cuffs on him and drag him to jail, and nobody can stop you. You are the man, and you're making 5, 10 grand a month, 15, 20. Some of these guys are making $500,000 a year. I know one guy, I better not say anything. I don't want to get him in trouble. But what I'm trying to say to you is look at the benefits, look at the upside, and nobody will ever tell on you for doing anything wrong. If you do something wrong and you're wearing this uniform and another cop sees you doing it, he's not going to tell on you. He's going to lie in his report for you. That's what's going to happen. He's going to lie for you. 100%. 100%. Say that you go on vacation. You live in California, you go on vacation to Florida. And while you're in Florida, man, something happens. You get in a dust up with another person, and then the cops come. You tell the cops, hey, I'm a cop in California. Show them your badge. And you got more brothers right there. They got your back, bro. They got your back. If they don't, you slip them a phone number of a guy you know in California or Florida or in the Fraternal Order of Police. They call that guy vouches for you. The other people get arrested, not you. You got to get out of jail free card everywhere. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can't be a total moron. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be driving over people drunk and then it's on camera. But if like you just have a private dust up with somebody and no one really sees it and we come in there, we got your back, bro. Sign up to be a cop. Sign up to join law enforcers. Sign up right now. Sign up to be my brother in blue. I got your back always. Am I right or am I wrong? Am I right or am I right? Am I right? Am I right? It's all about the money, Lebowski. It's all about the money. We're making big money and we're untouchable. Join the police force. They're recruiting everywhere right now. You could get a job making 10 grand a month. You've been working in that bakery? Get out of the bakery. You've been working in that pizza shop? Get out of the pizza shop. Don't work in that auto mechanic store. Get over here. Join us. All you got to do is go to basic training. You go to police academy for 2-3 weeks. Then you're OTJ, on the job training. Next thing you know, less than 6 months, 10-8, officer on duty. You got to feel that thing. I mean, this is solid. I mean, solid. Make sure you have your license, your registration, and your proof of insurance in a laminated card. Make sure you have your license, your registration in a laminated card. Make sure you're prepared when you have to deal with cops. Don't be reaching through your phone to get something. I got 6 of these things with my license, registration, and proof of insurance. I got 6 of them in case I lose one. I always want to make sure I have my license, registration, and proof of insurance. It sucks. I don't agree with the driver's license scam. I don't agree with it. I think it's wrong. I don't think we should have to have driver's licenses. But I'm seeing on video, people are going to jail, get arrested for not having their license, registration, and proof of insurance in a laminated card. They got to open their phone. Let me get my insurance out of here. And the cops will say, let me see that. And then he takes your phone and he just starts going through it. What are you going to do? Let me put it like this. If you hand me your phone that has your insurance card on it, you just gave me the phone. I'm going to go back with your phone, get in my squad car, and I'm just going to start looking through your social media. I'm going to start looking through your pictures. I have reasonable articulable suspicion that you're involved in the drug business. I think that you're involved in the drug business. So if you hand me your phone and it has your insurance card on the phone, I will take the phone and I will start looking through every single text message, every picture. I did it one time. This girl started freaking. She jumped on my back. She got arrested. She got charged with assaulting a police officer. If you hand me your phone, I have every right to look through it. You handed it to me. There's no limitations on what I can do once you give me your phone. I'll do whatever the hell I want with it. Girl actually attacked me, went to jail. Listen, if you give me your property, what am I going to ask you? Can I search your car? If you give me the right to search your car, I'm going to search your car. If you revoke consent using the 2018 case of United States versus Williams, I have to stop, especially if it's on camera. You show the trifold, United States versus Williams, and you say, I revoke consent of the search of my car. I revoke consent. If you say that, then I have to stop searching your car. That's how it works. That's literally how it works. The other big one, DUI checkpoints. I need you to take the test because the test is totally subjective to however I see it. So no matter how you do on the test, it's going to decide on whether or not I think you should go to jail. You don't have to be impaired. I just have to feel as though you flunked the test. If you take the DUI test and I see it and I don't think it's up to snuff, I'll just arrest you. I'll just arrest you. Remember, what's my goal? My goal is to arrest you. So if I pull you over and say, hey, will you take these tests? And you say yes, gotcha. Gotcha. Got you. I got you. As soon as you agree to take a test, hey, follow my pin, and I'm flashing the light in your face, cuffs are coming. Cuffs are coming. I love cuffs. All right. All right. I've had enough fun here. I'm going to get the flock out of here. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for coming. Sorry, I dressed up like a pig. I just did this to prove a point. Put it in the comment section. JBTP, Jack Boot Thug Pig. JBTP. Put it in the comments. Jack Boot Thug Pig. Hashtag JBTP. JBTP. Jack Boot Thug Pig. Thank you guys for coming. Barbara Budden, Wanda, Tom, thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it. Andrew, what is going on? KT, love you. Love you guys. I'm going to get out of this pig suit. DLZ Clips, I gave you what you needed. Now I can get out of this damn pig suit. I'm out of this pig suit. I got to get out of this thing. I literally want to vomit. Don't judge me, Denti Jen. Don't judge me. I'm doing this for the greater good. Now, if I went and signed up to be a pig, then you guys could judge me. This is an act. This is disgusting. I got to get the flock out of here. War, thanks for coming. As I always say, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I'll see you guys on the next one. Later, Gators.